Yo, what up? It's your boy Mark Roy. Thank you for tuning into Side Hustle, the official podcast. I got my guest, Kioa, Delos. Reyes in the house.
What's up,
He
guys?
represents Lost Tribe. He's about to tell you what that entails in a minute. So let's just start off. So Kioa, where are you from and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Kioa Delos Reyes, and I originally am from Hawaii, but I have relocated to Rexburg, Idaho, and I run a hip-hop dance studio called Lost Tribe.
Yo, okay, wait. So let's go back to that. You run a hip-hop dance studio in Rexburg. And for those of you who don't know where Rexburg is, can you kind of give, like, geographically give an idea of where that is in Idaho? Because most people know, like, Boise.
Right, so in regards to Boise, or even just the state of Idaho, you have that long kind of handle at the top, and then you got Idaho right here. Boise is on the west side, and we are on the east side. So we are about an hour and a half away from Yellowstone National Park. And if you are into the bougie skiing, we are about an hour and a half away from Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Which I hear a lot of great things about Jackson Hole.
It's nice if you want to
I've
see
never
famous
been there,
people.
but I hear a lot of good things. So Kyo lives on the east side. You say Boise is closer to us in Washington, yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Borderline.
Yeah, I think like an hour and a half from the border of Oregon, at least, or Washington.
Okay, and how far are you away from Boise?
So we're about four and a half hours away from Boise.
Cool. All right. So you said. So explain Rexburg real quick. Like what's in Rexburg?
So the reason I came to Rexburg is I am from the LDS faith. So the Mormons, right? And they got multiple colleges. The biggest one is BYU, or Brigham Young University in Utah. And they also have two other locations, one in Hawaii and one in Idaho. So I attended BYU Idaho. So our population here in Rexburg is about 25,000. And then the student population is anywhere from 18 to 20,000. So we have kind of a mix of locals, right? And students, except the locals are very traditional, conservative, a lot of farming, working outside, physical labor type. And then obviously students we got from all around. So it's a interesting demographic for sure. But obviously with the college, a lot of young kids, right?
Yeah.
And then with the locals, we get a lot of everything. So it's fun. It's interesting.
What would you say? So, like, living there within, like, the college population, your dance studio serves, like, what ages?
So my dance studio serves anywhere from 4 to 18.
Okay.
A lot of my instructors, though, are college students, and we've had college age hip hop crews before as well. So kind of pick and pull from the college students as of instructors, and luckily most of my instructors now are married as well, which means they kind of stay here more year round than leave during breaks.
Yeah,
which helps me out a ton.
Oh yeah, I would think that, you know, instead of dreading that fact of like, oh, they're gonna graduate and they're gonna leave, like, what do I do? I know for me, like, a lot of the ones that are consistent are the ones that have plans to stay, you know, whether married or not married, but just plans to stay within, like, the community, and you know, or they are like, they're going back home, because, you know, obviously not everybody that's from Rexburg is from Rexburg, you know what I'm saying? Like, or that
Right.
that goes to BYUI.
Right.
Is from Rexburg to begin with, yeah. But so in that business sense of starting, what made you want to start, like, a hip hop dance studio in, like, Rexburg?
Yeah, a lot of people kind of always questioned me, like, when they found out I wanted to start a studio here. than like a bigger city like Boise or Salt Lake City. Biggest thing was I started teaching in 2012, and I started teaching in different studios. Um, some were a 45 minutes drive away, some an hour, some just 10 minutes away. And I was kind of their hip hop program, right? Out here, there wasn't a lot of dancers that could, first of all, be able to, dance different styles of hip hop, yet alone teach it. Everyone thinks that just because they dance it, you can teach it. And
No,
it
I
doesn't
say that
always,
every single time too.
Yeah, it doesn't always work that way. And some of the best teachers aren't maybe even the best dancers per se. They just know how to be able to teach it in those steps and make it simple and easy for kids. But it was actually my wife that gave me the idea. I was already kind of like trying out different businesses, losing money on this, making money on that. And when I was looking for my next adventure, my wife brought it up, like, why don't you open up your own studio? And it had never crossed my mind, because most of the dance studio owners here are all female, and they all have husbands who also have full-time jobs. So for them, the risk wasn't as big, but for me, it was. I'm the breadwinner. My wife doesn't work. She stays at home with the kids.
Yeah.
So it was always a risk that I wasn't willing to take. But because I got her like permission to do it, kind of went into it, and there wasn't too much risk. And the biggest thing was, for me, I had already created a following.
Mm-hmm.
I already had taught classes at different studios. And a lot of the kids kind of followed me at whatever studio I was teaching at. So honestly, for me, it didn't seem like too much of a risk, because I kind of already knew this could make some money. Right. So I just went with it. I said, you know what? I'm tired of just sitting down. I'm tired of just being, idle. Let's do this. So kind of went right into it, and it was it was rocky at first, right? We're in a generation where we want to see results like very fast. And when you start a business, it's not as fast as you want it to be sometimes. Luckily, I was able to pay myself, the whatever it was, the little money I made.
Sliver, yeah.
But I was told to pay yourself, and I was able to pay myself $150 a week. And I obviously had to work other jobs. I had to hold other jobs, but the growth is kind of showing now.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's daunting, but if you work hard in the beginning, especially in the beginning when you're setting the foundations of your business, and if you set it right, years later it works out, and you don't have to kind of change things up a lot because you set it wrong in the beginning.
Right. And I think it's very important to realize, like, happiness, how you make your money really coincides with your happiness, I feel, right? Because so many times as creatives, and this is where like they coined that term, starving artists, because a lot of artists out there are so talented, but they don't know how to make money from it. But a lot of people that are business savvy aren't like the best artists, right? But they get stuck into that, okay, we're just going to mass produce and we're doing it for the money. And then they end up working themselves crazy hard, even if they're like, their product isn't as great, but they're all about that money. I was just talking to somebody about this, where it was like, I'd much rather do what I'm doing currently than like chase the paper that it comes with, because I was like, not all money is good money, and sometimes my like happiness is important in that work, right? And I'm pretty sure that you can attest to that same thing of being that dance studio owner. Like maybe there was a job and you're like, I don't know if I want to take that job, like it doesn't sound like something that I would invest my time into, right? So what would you say to what would you say along the lines of like you know, when you're first starting out, did you take anything and everything and then find out what you didn't want to take? Because I sure did in this video business. Like I did a lot of things even for free, and I was like, oh, there's so much work that gets put into it, I'm not doing it again, right?
Yeah, no. I obviously in the beginning, it was all about making the business stay afloat or happen.
Yeah.
Right. For me, the key was just not losing money. It wasn't so much making money because I already had other jobs.
Yeah.
But it was making sure that I wasn't losing money. So I did give out bigger, I guess, discounts for like siblings and families. And I took a lot of free jobs or cheaper jobs to kind of get me out there. And we kind of just took whatever kids we could, especially with our competitive teams, which brought, a lot of kids who didn't want to be there. Their parents made them go. We had more difficult parents in the beginning.
I ask my kids all the time. I'm like, why are you here? They're like, because my mom made me. And I'm like, okay, but why did you stay? They're like, well, because I like it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great.
Right. But now, it's one of those. Not that we don't need the kids, but if they are too much to handle, we do talk to the parents.
Oh yeah,
and we
sure.
let them know, hey, this is what's going on, and they're disruptive. It's making it hard for other students and teachers, and we need you to talk with your kid about it, or we're gonna have to take him out of classes.
Get him in line.
Right. And we're at a point where we don't need kids to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Right. So now we're getting the right kids who want to be there, who are invested. We have parents who want their kids to be there, and the kids want to be there. Yeah. So there's a lot less issues now, now that we're not so focused on making the money and staying afloat and making sure we can pay bills.
Right. So I guess this would lead into the next one. Like those days as an entrepreneur, as someone who is like running the business, how do you creatively or mentally stay on your grind? Because we know that in this game of having a business, you're everything, right? How do you continue on that path to build it? How do you continue on that path to like scale it and just continue hustling, like being on that grind, even though the grind can change day to day?
Yeah, so for us, I think the biggest thing is always being willing to adapt. 2020, right? When COVID hit, everyone had to learn. It was either you adapted or you sunk.
If you didn't do anything for that 2 weeks that everything shut down, or whatever, if you didn't come out of that learning a new skill or doing something cool, like I think you took that pandemic, like that stay-at-home order, like in the wrong way. I was like, because it's not a vacation.
Well, and that, I think, not just being a vacation, but when the stimulus checks came out, a lot of my friends were like buying cars and buying new TVs. And, I was telling them, I'm like, guys, this is the best time to invest in programs. You can learn how to, market. You can learn how to edit. You can learn how to produce videos, whatever it may be. I know you're thinking of it as free money, but if you are okay financially with not having to use the money for bills, use it to better yourself. Yeah, because I can promise you, once it ends, like the world's gonna change, and it's only gonna get harder to get, better jobs. So you have to really work on yourself. And same thing when we shut down, I went ham. That 2 weeks, we were like 2 weeks from shutting down. I got all my instructors. We started creating videos, and we made 75 videos in 1 week. Because I was ahead of the game. Once I knew we were going to shut down, I said, you know what? We're going to go virtual. We're going to go online. We're going to drop videos every week for every specific class. And then every week from there that we are shut down, we're going to drop new videos. Right? Yeah. So it's consistent. And luckily, the tribe we had at the time was awesome, and they still are. I was trying to charge 75% of tuition. A lot of families actually paid 100%
Yeah.
of the tuition because, they said, we understand what you're going through. We
That's
love
awesome.
what you've already
That's
done
awesome.
with the kids.
Yeah.
And we not only survived, we excelled. 2020 was the biggest year of, the previous 4 years, and we just keep growing from there. Right.
Yeah.
For me, there was no, oh crap, we're done. What do I do next? It was, okay, let's take a breather real quick and figure out where we need to be. And for me, in regards to the grind, it's all about having goals, right? You have your big goal. So I always set like a big goal, maybe 5 to 10 years down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of add some milestones to it. And for different milestones, we try to figure out, okay, is this going to take 3 to 6 months? Is it going to take 1 to 2 months?
Right.
How do we cut it to get to that big goal? Because I think the biggest part is all these entrepreneurs and small business owners, when they start, they have this fat goal and that's it. And then when they realize, dang, this is going to take forever, they quit. They give up.
Yeah. They get hustled on the side. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And it's like you're going to have to put time into it for sure. But I think there is a thing called overworking and losing sight of what's important, right? The glitter of the gold, right? The money makes us lose sight of the risk that we're taking. And sometimes that risk can be small things like money. And I do think of money as a small thing. Sometimes the risk is big, like a failed marriage or kids not seeing you, right? So you got to figure out your why. And I know a lot of people talk about that, right? Like what's
your
my why?
Yeah.
Why,
do you do it?
It's gonna help you through the hard times. I like to think of mine as more purpose. Like, what's my purpose? And for me, it kind of split into two. One of the biggest purposes was I wanted to help these students grow up to be good human beings. It wasn't about being good dancers.
Yeah.
It was about being good human beings. And the other purpose was, I'm trying to work hard to make more money so I can spend time with my family. Is this keeping me away from my family more than before?
Yeah. And
how long do I have to do this before I get to spend time with my family?
And it's true because at first, like in 2018, when I started the video business, that was exactly it. I would take anything and everything, right? There was 1 week and it was in September. And I know this, like, it was like the first week of September. I took 5 weddings in 1 week. It was a Saturday, Sunday, one on a Thursday, an elopement on Thursday, and then a Saturday, Sunday, like back to back. So 2 weekends back to back with a Thursday smashed in between. And it was like everywhere. I mean, we're talking like distance from, a wedding that was in like Salem, which is like an hour away from me. And then another wedding that was like 3 hours away from Salem, like going down towards California. And then the elopement, which was back towards Salem. And then the other two, which one, like it was in Vancouver and then at Mount Hood. Like I was driving within that 7 days, like so much. And that whole week I was just non-existent. Like I would go and I would like upload everything and do that. Kids would go to school, right? And I would come home. Like that whole week I had like no time to do anything at all. I was like so tired from the Saturday, Sunday before that like Monday, Tuesday, I'm like recuperating. Wednesday, I'm like trying to get back into it. And then Thursday, I leave again the whole day to go, hike an elopement. And then Friday, I'm recuperating, and Saturday, Sunday, do it. Like, I'm like, yo, early on, if you can figure out like what's worth it and what's not, I think that's more of the growing pains in the beginning of your business year, right? Because you're about what I want to say 10 years in from starting your studio in 2012. And then
me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't start my studio till 2018.
Oh, but
2012 is when I started teaching.
you
Yeah.
started teaching in 2012.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, so same. We're
Right.
inching over closer to that 5-year mark of, doing business. And I think a lot of our growing pains, started because I remember talking to you. I was like, yo, you should do it. And, because when I had the dance studio and, your previous business and selling hats, right? I was like an avid buyer of all your hats, and I even bought it for all my dance students
Right.
a couple years. And so, but then you're like, I don't know. There's so much want of me. Like, everyone says I should open a studio. And I'm like, yo, that'd be tight, right? Because I was like, capitalize on your market, even if there's nothing around you. Like, sure, there's dance studios, but like, just hip hop, I don't know, right? And then 5 years later, here you are killing it. And so I like the grind sucks sometimes, right? But the thing is like, okay, so we're fathers also. Sometimes I feel like, yo, where does that balance come from, right? And you just said it. How do you make time? Does currently what I'm doing take away from my family time? And granted, there's people out there that are like, they're just workaholics and they don't really invest in their family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But being that person who is always investing into their family, how do you make time for your business family, right? And then your family. Like how does that play into your life?
So as the studio has grown, I've started investing more in my instructors, right? Like I said before, a lot of them have been college students before, and it's hard when they go on breaks.
Yeah.
And we're still in season. So I've invested in doing activities, doing trainings during the summer before our season starts. Doing escape rooms, going bowling.
Yeah.
Every other month or whatever the case may be, taking them out to sushi or buffets, realizing that without them, I don't exist as a business. Like I can't do it all. I have classes going on at the same time, so there's no way I can do it all. So making sure they feel appreciated and know that I need them as well, right? And my slogan, my mantra with them has always been, if I eat, everyone eats.
Yep.
Right? If I'm making more money
about it,
you guys will get a raise. Like that's how it is. And then spending time with my family, it can get hard, especially when your kids start getting into activities. It takes away from you being able to see them. And how my schedule works right now is I work more in the afternoon and early evenings, which is kind of a key moment, right? It's one of those, dang, that sacrifice is hard because dinner is during that time, which is huge. And I'm all about eating meals together.
Right.
And then showers and stories, bedtime. And I'm missing a lot of that on certain days. So I try to make up for that by spending my mornings with the kids, taking my daughter to school, and then I have my two younger ones up until I leave for the office.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is being aware of your kids and your spouse, and knowing when they have activities, and knowing when I can make activities. And like, for example, Saturday, two of my daughters were at a competition, and you guys don't even know about my second business. I run a fruit juice business called Shaka Juice, and I sell at the farmers markets and certain events. Well, I was at this dance event, because a lot of people know me. So I was able to get into this event, sold a lot of juice, but I knew the order, and I knew when my daughters were going. And it got to a point where I had people in line, and I knew that my daughter was coming up next. And I told them, I said, guys,
shut it down.
Listen, I would love to share and sell you guys juice, but we got to stop right now. I'm going to go run, watch my daughter, support her. I'll be back. And yeah, that's what I did. I said, okay, hold up. Ran inside with my apron on, with my gloves on, sat down, even had a few moms go, that's a dad right there. Yep. And I'm cheering loud. It ends.
That's what's up.
We make eye contact. I say, hey, good job. Dad's got to go. I bolt out. That line, still there. They waited, right? Serve them juice. Everyone's happy.
Here's the thing about that today. You know, I feel like people, like, they really want the authenticity of people again. Because I feel like there's so many, like, faking going on, right? And it's one thing to, like, again, be a business owner, but your first business is your family. And if you can't take care of that, like, how could you give 100% in your business? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so, you know, it's dope to, like, hear stories like that, because you don't hear a lot of stories like that. Usually the excuse is, I have to make this money to provide you to do that thing. Right? That's always what, you know, I hear, or, you know, is portrayed in the movies. And it's dope to see that, you know, play out and say, yo, I gotta watch my daughter real quick. I'll be back. 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere, or go somewhere. Doesn't really matter, right?
Right. And look, I could have lost. There are like 4 people in line.
Yeah.
I sell juice for $4. I could have lost, you know, 16 to 20 bucks depending on how many cups they were gonna get. But for me, and this did take time. It wasn't something I just was like, okay, this is gonna happen.
Right.
For me, it has changed to where I understand I can always make more money.
Always.
I can always make more money. You can always make more money no matter what age. But the time I got with my kids, you know, them seeing me in the audience, me seeing them grow up, dude, that flies.
Yeah, you don't get that back.
And once that's gone,
and it makes an impact on them too. And so that goes back to the last live that I had with you and your wife on it, was, you know, kids and, you know, discipline. Like, that goes into their whole entire being, their character, right? They learn all of that while they're growing up. And so when they get a little bit older, now it's like it's ingrained in them. This is how they are. And they just kind of step into that role later on in life. But really what they learned, it like comes out of them, because it's, you know, it was given through us, right?
Right.
And so,
and one thing something I've heard that I live my life by is, he asked, how do you spell love? And his answer was Time.
Yeah.
And that's huge, because listen, you can buy your kids whatever they want. You can buy love. But for me, that's a lot more temporal. It's like a Christmas gift. It's like a materialistic Christmas gift. 4 months later, you can ask them. They might not even remember what you got them. But if you got them like a family vacation to Hawaii, to Costa Rica, to Mexico, to Yellowstone, you probably have more memories on these experiences because time was invested in it,
right,
than just the money.
Yeah. So would you say, like, so balancing your time between family and business, there has to be a balance between the time spent, not like you should spend 4 hours here and then 4 hours there, but more so the way you spend it,
the quality of it.
Yeah.
So I make sure that when I go to the office, I'm getting stuff done, right? I'm not just lollygagging over here, just chilling and sipping on my Coca-Cola, watching my movies. Like, I make sure I get time done, and if I'm done, let's go home. Even if it's just to hug my kids, let them know I'm there before I have to go to this other thing. That's what I gotta do. And I think making sure they understand, my wife understands, babe, today is going to be a long rehearsal. Just giving you a heads up. If you want to bring the kids during our dinner time, I would love that. Letting my kids know, hey, dad's going to come home late. I will give you a kiss on the cheek. Like, that's what's going to happen. And then what I've learned too is, yeah, spending time with your kids is awesome, but the quality of the time, like, are you on your phone the whole time you're with your kids? Like that's not spending time.
Mentally there,
right? And not just physically there.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and because again, like, I even get that, like, I get business emails that come in or inquiries, and you're like, oh, I gotta answer this real quick. And then your daughter's over here like, yo, watch some Coco Melon with me. Like, yeah, hold on. Right. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they'll go like those things, like, even I, catch on and I'm like, okay, I gotta go. I'll do this in like 5 minutes, but let me go ahead and spend time. Like Kensley loves TikToks. Sometimes I don't always want to do a TikTok, but I know, like, for her, she's like, even if she doesn't want to do one, she wants to watch one. We've gotten into, have you ever ran into the videos where they like make clay teapots?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She loves those because she's like, it's so cool. And it's just like, so like just visually appealing when they're like, oh, what are they making? And they're like, probably a teapot. She was like, just like the last one. I was like, this might be different. Like, I don't think they make the same one every single time. But, for her, it's like, that's like almost a bedtime ritual now, right? It's, before she goes to bed, or sometimes when I do make it up in time before she goes to sleep to watch a video with her. But I need to remember, yes, do that often. It's almost like that new age of like, read me a bedtime story, that quality time before they go to bed. It really does matter. So I think, when we're like hustling to build this lifestyle that we want, right? And when we're side hustling, how did you figure out that, when you first started the dance studio, when you first started Shaka Juice, that it was something that you actually wanted to invest your time in? And when did that become not just a side hustle, but your everyday hustle? Like, this is now your full time, right? And I got told once, like, don't confuse full time, FULL, with full time, FOOL, because you feel like you're doing a lot of work, but you're really not doing anything at all, right? Like, again, that grind just is a consistent grind, but you're doing the same thing but not going anywhere.
Yeah, so I had a few jobs, the 9 to 5, and I'm not hitting on 9 to 5 jobs.
No, not at all. Yeah.
I realized it for me. I knew I could work harder than most around me, except I couldn't get a raise because of time or because of my title. And I didn't like that. I wanted to earn my money in a sense, right? So when I started my businesses, I worked hard, but with both businesses, I knew I was going to enjoy it. I knew when Monday hit, I was going to love Monday. Why? Because I got back to the grind, right? So for me, it was enjoying the work to a point where, because I did have to watch myself, to where I didn't let it affect the output, right? Just because I wanted money. Like, I wasn't just pushing out choreo just because. Like, I was still being a creative, and I was still creating art, and that's how I was making money. With the juice business, it was funny because it was during COVID, and it was during the college break. So everybody was like, Kioa, you are so dumb. Like, nope. Half the locals gone. The other locals, vacations. Like, this is mid-July. They're like, oh, this is so dumb. I said, guys, honestly, for me, it's beyond the money. I just want to start it because I want to share culture with people.
Yeah.
If I break even, cool. But I knew in my head I wasn't going to break even because that's
I mean,
my hustler mentality.
So I remember you saying like, "Oh, we got this new juice," and I was like, "Yo, give me the recipe." And so I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this at home." I made it, and I was like, "I think I pay $4 for this. I might even pay 5. Like, what the heck? This is so bomb." And it was your lime one. It was
The Brazilian limeade, yeah.
Brazilian limeade, and I was like, "Yo, this is fire," but it's also like I can't drink too much of it.
Right.
But I could. I was like, I gotta just push this away. So I was like, okay, yeah, I think you might be onto something. And then your 3 other flavors. There's another one that you had.
It's passion fruit orange guava. The one on you tried was the Vifala, the pineapple one.
Vifala, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one. Oh, that's the one that I tried when I was over there. Yeah. That you made.
Yeah. And what was crazy was in my head, I'm like, you know what? Farmers markets, they're cool. And I want my daughters to my kids to learn how a business runs, so they understand how money kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what, I'm gonna sell this to my 7-year-old daughter. This could be a little summer thing. This is so cool. Well, then we started selling a lot, and I was like, okay, Gigi, hold on, we'll start another business for you, like cupcakes or something, because Daddy's gonna take this and we're gonna go off with this.
Yeah. No,
it's been money.
I think that's dope because this one has allowed you to employ even some of your dancers to have like that little side income, right?
Right. Yeah. And so I have a few dancers that they come from, homes where the parents and the home struggles financially.
Right.
And for me, it hurts that kids don't get to dance because they financially can't pay for it.
Right.
So I knew in my head, I wanted to start a business that my dancers could leave practice or whatever the case may be, go over and work and earn some money. Mm-hmm. I didn't just want to give them dance for free, because I wanted them to learn how to work hard for something, which then made them earn not only money for dance, but in dance, they worked hard because they had to work hard for the money to pay for it.
Which I think is the coolest part of maybe being the entrepreneur that can control the price, is that you can control it, right?
Yeah.
You're not a third party. You don't work as an independent but working for somebody else. Like, you can control the price of what that is, because the cost of doing business is so low with juice that you're like, yeah, but the cost of doing business more with the youth and building them up to understand that, like, look, if someone would have gave me a shot when I was your age, I would have worked hard, just as you're doing. So, thanks for helping me out. But like, I think that's the beauty of you having that avenue for, kids, is not only do they learn dance, but they're learning how to actually, serve one, but also customer service.
Well, it's funny because I was going to bring that up. When we're selling juice at the farmers market, I rotate some dancers, mm-hmm. and for those who have never done it before, we set up the tent, we get everything ready, and they're like, "Hey, so where's the chairs?" I go, I don't bring chairs. They're like, "Well, where do we sit down?" I said, No, we are not sitting down. I point at other, tents and everything. I'm like, guys, I know they sit down, and I know they sit down. We don't sit down here. we are trying to grow this business, and I'm like, talk to people, say hi to people, offer samples. If not, get out from behind the booth and talk to people. I have made shy people talk to people. And I'm like, guys, awesome. You don't have to talk about your life. Just say hi. Even something as simple as, hey, what's up? Do you want to try a free sample? Yeah. And then go over, and then that's how it works. But I'm like, guys, there's no sitting back. And there's no, I have the business, I'm gonna sit back and watch it grow. No,
Watch
you
people
got to
come
get
through.
out. Yeah, you got to get out. You got to make things happen, and you're gonna have to step out of your comfort zone a
Yeah.
ton to have your business grow. You're gonna have to do things you've never done before, but that's part of building a business and part of building your character at the same time.
Yeah. No,
Like, it
and
teaches you a lot.
that's the dope part is, it's a lot of this is character building. Even in the beginning, when you said, yo, even the best choreographers aren't the best teachers. It's over the course of time, you put in your time, right? Teaching, starting with like peewees or something, right? Where you get judged, you don't get judged at all, right? And then you kind of climb up the ladder. But it's like, it builds your character. It builds a whole lot of your, I tell my students this all the time. I'm like, you only know what you know.
Yep.
Everything that you'll know in life is through your experience. Even if someone says, yo, this is my experience, take it as is, you won't understand that unless you go through it yourself. And I tell people, like, you got to go through that fire. You got to just swim in the deep end and then just try to figure it out, right? I think for a lot of kids these days, like they're behind the screen so much that they forget how to like actually talk on the phone when it comes time to having a conversation. And so it's cool to see that. It's good to hear that we still have people that are teaching communication the way it should be, face to face, because we do have a lot of communication through a screen. I mean, that's how we're doing it now, right? But a lot of people are scared of this. A lot of people are like, what do I look like in this camera? Like, I'm just having a bad hair day, I can't do it. But again, that authenticity of just being real and being raw, kind of like, I don't want to edit this video, I'm just going to post this whole entire thing. Like that type of, what else happened or what did they cut out, to have this conversation not be what it, is. And so what would you say to, last thought, what would you say to like the hustlers out there that are trying to balance their like business or businesses, maybe even thinking of like starting something, but have that thing in the back of their mind that I have a family, I don't have time to start this business, but they're so burnt out from what they're currently doing, right? Or maybe they just have this passion to do something, but they're like, but I got like 2 little kids at home, right? Like,
Yeah, that's a hard one. And that's something I'm still learning, that when I have these ideas, I need to bring it to my wife, and talk about it. I need to think about what's more important for me, and my family. But I know we focus so much on like, oh, my kids, my spouse, my family, but I think you also got to focus on you personally, because, and this is one of the reasons I started a business, if you're at a job and you're making a lot of money, but you come home unhappy every single day, then how do you expect to be happy with your kids? And that's what I saw. Was I was coming home from my job and I was so mentally tired and drained that when I got home, I did not want to play with my kids. I did not want to take my wife on a date, but I was making money and it was dope.
yeah,
But it just hit a point where I think I had one of my daughters, like, she was trying to get a piggyback ride from me, and I was just laying on the ground. I was like, no, Dad's too tired. And I think that's kind of where it hit me, to where I was like, okay, well, I need to do something else. I need to do something, even if that means I make less money. I need to do something else to where I'm happy and I can come home happy. And with the business for me, it was, I can control. You said something about controlling prices. I can also control my time.
Yeah,
I can. If my wife needed me then and there, I can find a sub for my class. I can have one of my students from my class take over, which I did. When I fractured my ankle, I I said for a couple weeks, subs here, subs here. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're in charge of here. You're in charge of this because I'm not there. I cannot be there right now. And I knew when my wife gave birth, that's kind of where it really showed me that I have control over this. Was when she went, I had everything else lined up. And for the next 2 weeks, I said, nope, not teaching. I'm going to be home. I'm going to be helping my wife. And the fact that I could do that made me go, this is good. This is what I'm doing is good. The fact that I can drop everything and just be able to go made me realize, okay, I do have control of this. And now it's my own decision if I want to be home or not. Right. And that's the hard part is a lot of business owners can be at home in a split second. But, oh, man, is this job? Is this project? Is this more important than my family?
Yeah.
That's where it becomes reality. We all think it. We're all like, oh, yeah, I could easily, we could drop it, this and this. But when it happens, where are you leaning? Are you leaning towards, oh, no, we need this money? Or, oh, yeah, I got to be home. Money's not even a thought. Or I can make it later. Someone else can cover it. I can delegate.
Yeah.
Right. So I think happiness is one, right? Being able to be happy with your job. Not saying that it's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but being happy because you're fulfilled with what you're doing. There's purpose, there's passion, this and that. And, are you able to just drop it for your family?
Right. And I feel like a lot of young entrepreneurs are wanting to get it right away. They want to get to that success number. They want to get to that fame. They want to get to being on top with really little work. But what the big dogs don't talk about is how much work you actually have to put in and how much work or over a period of time. Because how old are the big dogs? Older.
They're old. Yeah.
50s even, right? And it's like all the 25-year-olds are like going through and they're like, okay, rising to the top. Let's, they're looking at YouTube influencers and just social media influencers and saying, I want to do that. But again, a lot of people just like fake it. Amy showed me this app where you can take a picture of yourself and Facetune it and get rid of all your like blemishes. And I'm like, by the time she's done with it, I'm like, that doesn't even
look like
this is exactly why people are so insecure on social media, because that's not the picture that you just took 2 minutes ago, right? I was like, that's crazy. So many people are getting catfished on, and the idea of being sold on, yo, to be successful, you have to look like this. But a lot of the successful people don't even look like that. Like the richest people don't really care about fashion the way social media.
And some of the richest people, you don't even know they're rich.
No,
they're not driving the Lambos. They're not wearing the Prada, but they're multimillionaires.
Yeah.
But there's reasons why they are.
They're comfortable,
right? And it's funny because it's funny you mentioned that. You might have seen this post where I posted my second year of teaching. I took a selfie. I put it on timer, and I took a selfie of me in the studio alone because my class had no kids signed up, but I was still there and I was still paying rent for that studio space. And it got, I think, the most likes of that whole year. And people were like, Kioa, I like that you post this stuff too, because this is real. Right. Yeah. Instead of showing all the glamour, like, oh, I got 50 kids in my class. Oh, I'm traveling here. No, there's days where I'm losing money for this class, but I know I got to keep it open. I know kids are going to sign up at some point. Yeah. And I know we got to do it, but everybody wants to see the glamour, but no one wants to show off the hard work. Right. The work that actually goes into it.
Right. Yeah. Hustling, like, I feel like you have to have a heart after it, because it is not for the weak-minded.
Nope.
At all. And I think that's the one thing that differs from the new age hustlers versus people that, have been hustling for the last, 20 years, is that the grit and the I guess the griminess that comes with being able to put, the boots to the ground and do the hard work versus, I want to just go to Cabo right now and then do work from my laptop sitting by the pool, right? But like what the grind before that, the hustle before that to get to that point is what people are not wanting to understand or even invest in, right? And so,
and I think one thing too is a lot of people give up too easily. Like they hit,
for sure,
they hit, a dip in the road, and they look at it as, well, I'm done.
It's not meant to be.
And they're not looking at it like lessons. Like, okay, well, I hit this dip. There's no kids in this class. What did I do wrong? And how can we fill this in?
Oh, I tell King,
that's what I did.
I tell King and Ken's all the time. I was like, yo, we don't take any losses. I was like, you better take those L's and learn from it. I was like, because these are just lessons. I was like, now if we do the same thing and the same mistake, you didn't learn from it. What can we do better next time? What can we improve on? Right.
And I think that's where I get a lot of my push from are those lessons where I'm like, oh, okay, like they humble me, and I'm like, okay,
for sure,
these classes are all filled, but this one isn't. What do I need to do? Right? And we go from there, and that pushes me more. My wife hates the mentality of, I love struggling and I love seeing people struggle. I love seeing my kids struggle. I love seeing my students struggle, because I know in all my experience, that's where I have grown and learned the most.
Yeah.
It wasn't even from succeeding. It was from those moments of struggling that I learned my own character. I learned I got to dig deep, and I love seeing my kids struggle, right? I'm not one of those normal parents. Like, if my kid is trying to hit that baseball with a bat and they can't figure it out and they start crying, I'm like, no, you got this, get back up.
Yeah.
And I still, from behind, I'm like, come on, you got this. Yeah. Boom, they hit it. You see their face, you see their reaction.
Yeah.
You join in. That's the best part.
That's where it's at right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because, again, how you react to what they do, again, matters, right?
Yep.
They'll remember that. And sometimes I'm like, why would you do that? Like sometimes that's my reaction, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna grow up and be like, why would you do that? I'm all old, trying to do, like, Dad, come on now, why would you do that? I'm like, I'm
Dad,
old,
why did
just
you
chill out.
Why did you say that? Why did you say that? That's not cool anymore. No one says guap of people anymore.
You imagine these like old people, from 2020 that were just born in like 2018, and then they're all old now, like just saying like, oh, Kioa, that's cap. That's all cap. Like, wait, what? Like I started, well, I always said it, but like I say like legit and dope, and then I hear King say it, and back in the day, it used to be what, crunk, like,
yep.
Like all these words. Yeah, it's crazy to, again, evolving into like who you are or just who you're to become, and then even your business, right? So last thought, like, where do you see this year headed? I know it's like 3 months in, but we're getting into juice season coming here soon. The weather's warming up. Dance season is in full effect already.
Yep.
What do you have on the books, and what are you looking forward to come the summer?
So yeah, summers are fun. Summers are full of a lot of things, both business and family. Juice business, I mean, already this morning kind of had a meeting trying to set up a trailer somewhere here in town. I got approved yesterday for the farmers market here.
Nice.
Trying to get approved for another farmers market down in Idaho Falls, about 30 minutes south of us.
Okay.
Hopefully, I don't know, been looking at storefronts as well for the juice business. We're heading into season 5 for dance, and I got approached about building a studio, but I think we're going to hold off a little bit. I'm going to build my students up, get that number up, and then maybe we can look at that in the future. I do a lot of outside teaching, so independent contract work, teaching at different studios, high schools. I think I taught at 5 high schools last summer, and 4 of them made it to state with our hip hop routine.
Nice.
So I'm looking at working a lot more with some cheerleaders, cheerleading schools, right? And other studios. Headed to Hawaii in August, headed to Disney World in June. Summers are busy. Summers are busy.
But that's a good busy though.
No, it's a good busy, and I have my daughters come and help me with juice too, and I pay them a lot for them.
Yeah.
Definitely a little in regards to minimum wages and everything like that.
Yeah.
But that's where Gigi's killing it in math this year. She's one of the highest in math, and
put her on the register.
A lot of it comes from doing the register, even if it takes 10 minutes for her to figure out how much change to give. She learned how to count and money and everything from working the farmers market. So got a busy summer, got a lot of goals, got a lot of milestones we want to hit. I'm excited to spend time with my family and kids as well. I'm excited to see them grow. And I mean, everyone doesn't know, but I'm bringing Mark. We got our summer camp for the studio coming this summer, bringing Mark again and his kids. So it's fun. And I think my businesses are very family based. Right. It's all about the family. So when we have these kind of summer camps where Mark comes with his family, it's about the family, right? Like money's obviously, I make a lot of money from the camps and everything like that, but the experiences with the kids, experiences with Mark and his family and my family, like those are the moments and those are the times we're going to remember. Right. Like I don't know if my kids are going to remember me selling juice or them selling juice, but I think they're going to remember some of the experiences we have, good and bad, right? Lessons they learn, good things we do, like maybe opening up a store or trailer. Like I think they're going to remember lessons and experiences that they've learned, and I'm hoping that they remember that I was a part of that experience, right?
Oh, for sure.
And not that dad wasn't just working
all the time, but like they like to be included, because even some photo shoots I bring Kensley with me, and she just loves it. She's like, oh, did you bring my camera? I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. She's like, oh, okay, thank you. And she'll go and like take pictures, and I'm just like, some of these actually turned out really good, but again, it's that experience, and they'll hold you to it, because these kids don't let you forget anything, right?
Yep. Memories awesome.
Now we're so looking forward to Idaho in July. We're gonna be in California and then shoot straight from there to go to Idaho. I remember just last year after camp, there was one of the boys wanted to hang out with King and stop by your house, and we're like, oh, we're already leaving. We're gone, right? But I think they'll be able to do it big this year. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the travels. But all right, that was our time. Like an hour goes by super quick. What? So hey, thank y'all for tuning in to Side Hustle, the official podcast. It's my boy Kioa. And remember that, again, if you're side hustling, that you're doing the hustling and you don't end up getting hustled on the side. I'm Mark. This is Kioa.
I'm Kioa.
Yo. All right. Peace out, y'all. So I know I usually do that. But then I'm like, the camera's so far away. This is where my hand goes.